Heyo everyone, it is here, United. It is once in a while we could listen to a perfect little story. It brings children into a magical world full of imagination and creativity. So let's dive into a simple story about a funny tale called Trollface Quest 2. And how about we turn on the audio? Otherwise it's not gonna be festive. Okay? Might as well turn off the volume. There we go. Let's begin. Wait. That captain looks a bit like Knuckles from Flapjack. You know, Flapjack, the marvelous misadventures of Flapjack. You get what I mean, do you? Anyway, let's begin. In this scenario, you see the little stick figure standing there, quite anticipating, thinking what he can get as a pet. You can see the little smile on this troll's face. He knows that something is not right here. Well, other than the 6 birds, he has a choice of a big brain, an angry bird, a fatso, a bird, a giraffe, and a swan. He looks at the 6 birds, thinking what he could get. The blood flows in his brain, eagerly pushing, shoving through the vessels, giving him a headache, until suddenly the bird in the bottom middle jumped out at him, and jumped into his arms, and which he claimed as a pet. Look at the guy's face, he must have loved that bird so much. Too bad, it's his now. In the second scene, he comes to the strip club. Comes with this very big buff man who looks like his chin is a butt cheek. And there he has his pet coming with see his pet right down there joining him, although I don't know if birds can join in. Well, without any haste, he enters. Ouch, that must have hurt. He whacked the little stick figure all the way into Nevada. So what can he do to get into... He looks at you, raising his eyebrows, thinking what you could do. Suddenly, the stars start to light up. Then comes a second one, then another, immediately turning him to the Barack Obama. And he really goes into the club. Get out of there, Donald Trump. The old president has come back. Then the next day, he has to prepare for his school photo. He comes with this photographer with a big Adam's apple. He takes this picture with a camera fitted onto some radiator, and before he knew it, he blacked out. After recovering from the hospital, he had to take one again. He knew what would happen. He remembered what happened last time before his life flashed before his eyes. Before anything could happen, he closed his eyes and prevented himself from experiencing the blackout again. And then that night, he decided to wander for some moon spotting, and as of course, the bird joins him. Then he sleeps again. No one understands that bird. He takes a gaze through the humongous telescope of his. Before he knew it, a troll cloud blocks his view. Depression. So he tries it one more time, but the troll cloud just kept on coming. So what could he do about it? There's nothing he could do about it. The cloud is up in the sky and he's down on the ground. But then the moon gave a piece of his mind to the trollish cloud, keep blocking his way, and so he can't see the whole city and see all the kids sleep and everything. He needs to get authority. He needs discipline. Then he's at the shower. Everyone needs a midnight shower. He turns the knob and went freezing to death like he couldn't let it go. He tries again after going through some freeze shock. But then he burns himself, getting skin cancer and everything. So there was nothing he could do. He just stared at his newly pet bird and thought if he could have a shower, but it seems that the handles have been broken off. However, though, someone stealthily pulled the curtains next to him, pulled that, and give the pet a little shower. Cause pets need shower. You don't want him sticking in your house. You don't you? Unless you have a monkey or something. The next day, he woke up. It feels like he was outside, and suddenly he's been tied onto a chair, hung onto some strings by a burglar. It seems to be the man back from when he was at the pet shop. The adrenaline was running through him, thinking what he could do. The life was really flashing through his eyes, but before he knew it, he was too late and plummeted 50 feet down onto the ground. And that's how our story ends. But wait, before you even knew it, the burglar didn't even know that the stickman had his pet bird with him to come save him. And he falls down. He still couldn't fall front. Time for vacation. And he was gonna go to this convention back all the way in, I don't know, you decide his destination. He got his fully equipped armor ready to go for his convention. But he didn't thought this one through, cause you know what security is like. You could've just packed in your bag. Security just sits there typing, keeping a good eye on this little stickman here. The little stickman sweats and sweats as stress flooded through his brains again. But he has another idea. He doesn't have to go through that. Wait, hold on, but then wouldn't the alarm also go off or something? Then after a whole vacation, he went back home and went fishing during the night in a river. What? Why in a river? That isn't manly. Well, anyway, as he was minding his own business fishing, he didn't really expect much to happen until stupidity overtook him. Suddenly his bird starts to cheer him on. Then some frog at the frog. Then the moon for some reason. That sounds freaking creepy, as you know it. Then the stickman knew that he could use all his strength to pull whatever fishy that is. And appears it was the burglar that tried to murder him, which was the guy in the pet shop. And then suddenly he's out there trying to do skydiving from a tower. He needed some aid, and so he had some helicopter to go and catch him whenever he fell. But there was something cheeky going on with this helicopter. Could he really trust him? But without a doubt, he jumped, plummeting down. Again. He plummeted down already. This guy's immortal, is he not? And then he goes. And then he's dead. Is this how you treat your owner? How dare you? He then realizes that he didn't have to do all of that. There was some hack that he could do. He didn't have to play through the logic. It was that simple. And the next day, he felt like, why not play a calming game of memory? He laid 9 cards down on the deck and started playing his peaceful game. He got a pair. Then got another. Then the third one. Then the fourth. But then he has only 1 card left, as he didn't know that memory games supposed to have an even number of cards. So he's tried to start the game all over again. Starting with his first pair, second pair, then he had his third, and then his fourth. But where could he find that one last card? But then he remembered about the hack he's done and realized he could just play it off. After all, it's a face, therefore it could count, because this, guys, is Trollface, and there is no rules here. It's really weird. Well, anyway, that was half of our story. How about a little commercial break? Then we'll be right back. Is your teacher punishing you a lot just because of one silly little answer, especially spanking you with a painful ruler? Well, don't worry, with our help, we have just what you need. An eraser! And we're back, guys, after the commercial break. Previously, before the commercial break, we just got ourselves a new pet, went out to the club, had a shower, almost got murdered, went for a skydive, and now we're here at level 11, where a guy is trying to feed me a little candy bar, a little granola bar, for the little horrid Henry. The little stick man eagerly tries to, you know what, let's just turn on the sound. He jumps, eagerly trying to grab onto the candy bar, but the trampoline wasn't elastic enough. He was too short. Look at the smug smiling on his face. He just loves playing the games on him. So he decided to strap his little pet birdie onto the strings so he can go catch it. And off he launches it. But it was gone, and the bird was never seen again. He continuously went jumping there, trying to grab onto the candy bar, with no luck at all. Until he caught hold of the little strap on the bottom, and he finally got what he wanted. The next day, he went out sailing with the Trollface. He was enjoying the view, the sights, until... Well, I didn't see that coming. Although, how could he not see that iceberg there? He could totally see that. So he decided to go for another shot, but this time with more discipline, and yelled the iceberg to go away to his mummy. But then somehow his ship ran into another iceberg, and now he's out there on the sea, face to face with a shark looking weird, and his bird is just on there with the lifesaver. He thought it just stood there staring at him with this evil smile. He just stood there thinking that the shark would never do anything to him. But then when he least expected it, he died. Then after respawning again, he comes to face with the shark again. He then noticed something inside the shark's mouth. There was something. It was the whole time the troll, the murderer back in the days. No, you thought wrong. He got bamboozled. It was all a hoax, guys. The ship didn't sink, and the original stickman is still alive. So, after a big sea adventure, he decided to go home. He decided to buy 2 clocks, in case he couldn't read numbers or he couldn't read hands. And his bird is hiding behind the clock. And all he could do was just change the times of the clocks. And change his hands so it looks like the clock. He decided to do a marvelous little dance before anything could hit him. But it was getting pretty late and it's time for him to go to bed. So he went to sleep. Next morning he went outside and it was a cold, freezing weather. He only wished it was a temperature such as warm as a warm July. Well, as time passed, it started to get warmer. But he probably wished for too much as it got way too hot and it caught on fire, burning him to crisp instantly. And then a day later, it suddenly got cold again and he was alive again. He stood there freezing again, hoping to get a frostbite. And then it happened again, but this time he did not let it hit him, and hastily went into the shack and cooled off. Then later he met up with a round person who decided to take him to his house for a little game to play, and decided to play a game of cups. He had to find a little something, we don't know, a little ball to get mixed up with the... You know how this goes, right? I don't have to narrate everything here. He tries again, but nothing worked. He tried the first one, then the middle one, then the right, but nothing worked. He decided to use his pet bird again, but had no use at all. It went on and on and on, but it just kept doing the same thing. Until suddenly, a little dust particles went flying into the room. It aimed for the little old man and hit him right in the nose, and so the ball was there the whole entire time. That is black magic. But the next day, while he decided to go cleaning his clothes, he somehow got stuck in his washing machine. He went spinning and spinning and spinning. He probably watched Dumb Ways to Die again. He tried to call help for his little pet, but all it just did was jump around. You tried to take off the pipe, but it kept on spinning. You tried turning the tap, but it kept on spinning. You tried to unplug, but nothing is working. He just kept on spinning round and round, crying for help, but nothing could hurt him, until suddenly the power went out, finally. And the stickman was safe again. And he was like he looked impressed to the pet, but he didn't do anything. And that night he decided to go for a little casino gambling. He got to the slot machine, having no impression on his face. He pulled the lever. He got 3 in a row, but nothing came out, and it was a total scam. He then discovered the little button, automatic and manual. He curiously pressed onto the manual button, then clicked on the slots, and realized he could just take it on his own. He got 3 trolls in a row and finally got the cash. He smiled in glory and victory, earning the money. He knew how rich he could get with all the money. So that night, the owner of the casino decided to take him over for some drinks. They sipped their cups, and sipped, until suddenly he choked to death, because he was allergic to alcohol. Can people actually get allergic to alcohol? So they decided to go for another sip. Then the casino owner forgot that he recently bought his new bottle of bird wine. He took a drink from it and got poisoned. And so the bamboozle backfired once again. Then lastly, next day, he come face to face with the pirate from the beginning of the video. He had the key to the treasure that he really wanted. But the pirate just stood there, laughing at him. And ouch! He died. The bird tried to protect him, but it didn't do much. It only stopped the gun. There were too many explosives out there, killing everything instantly. So it was about time. The stickman had to play it off and show how he really felt to all the trolls in his world. He let out a big cry. The pirates then felt him, and so he thought that he needed to do something, and so give him the key. So what? He then smiled. He finally got the key to the biggest mystery treasure of all. He smiled. What could ever hold the treasure? What could lie anything ahead of him? He then walked stealthily towards the treasure, unlocked in its keyhole, turned it. Then, as he got ready, he blasted open the treasure, and it was his pet the whole time. He got bamboozled. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the story. Thank you very much. Well, that went well. Okay, so you just watched my kind of story kind of gameplay. I hope you enjoyed it. Me with my British accents and all that. Yeah, well, anyway, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also check out my DeviantArt, and hopefully we can see each other in the next video soon. Zoigin.